It was September 2021, in the quiet suburbs of Fort Worth, Texas. A routine morning began with smoke rising from a dumpster behind an industrial building. Firefighters arrived quickly, expecting a simple trash fire. But as the flames died down, something horrific emerged. Inside were dismembered human remains, charred, stuffed into plastic bins and garbage bags. The discovery would unravel one of the darkest murder cases Texas had ever seen. And at the center of it stood Jason Alan Thornburg. Thornburg was no stranger to police. Friends and neighbors described him as disturbed, a man haunted by violent religious delusions. But no one could have predicted the gruesome crimes he would later confess to committing. Over the span of 7 days in September 2021, Thornburg lured 3 victims into his small Euless motel room. 42-year-old David Luaris, a man known to him, 34-year-old Lauren Phillips, and 33-year-old Mary Cruz Mathis. One by one, he attacked, slitting throats, strangling, dismembering. In a chilling confession, Thornburg admitted to consuming part of Luaris's heart and committing acts of necrophilia. He described these killings not as crimes, but as sacrifices. On September 22nd, Thornburg stuffed the remains of all 3 victims into bins, loaded them into his Jeep, and drove to Fort Worth. He dumped the containers behind a business, set them on fire, and left, even returning the storage bins he had purchased, cleaned, to the very store he bought them from. But his mistake was caught on surveillance. Cameras tracked his Jeep, and within days, police closed in. During interrogation, Thornburg spoke calmly, almost coldly. He admitted to the triple murder. But he didn't stop there. He confessed to killing his 61-year-old roommate, Mark Jewell, months earlier, slitting his throat and causing a gas explosion to cover it up. And then he admitted to yet another killing. His girlfriend, Tanya Begay, who vanished in Arizona in 2017. She had been missing for years, her family desperate for answers. Thornburg now claimed responsibility, calling her death another sacrifice. In December 2021, Jason Alan Thornburg was indicted for capital murder. His trial began in November 2024. The jury listened to details so disturbing, some struggled to stay composed. Prosecutors painted him as a man consumed by evil, a threat who would kill again if ever free. His defense argued delusion, mental illness, and insanity. But the jury was unmoved. On November 20th, 2024, Thornburg was found guilty of capital murder. Just weeks later, on December 4th, he was sentenced to death. As the verdict was read, families of the victims wept, not with joy, but with a grim sense of justice. Thornburg now sits on Texas death row at the Polunsky unit, awaiting his fate. Jason Alan Thornburg called his murders sacrifices, but the truth was far more sinister. Behind the mask of religious obsession was a man who slaughtered without remorse, leaving a trail of broken families and unanswered prayers. In Fort Worth, Texas, a dumpster fire revealed more than burned remains. It uncovered the twisted mind of a serial killer who believed death was a calling.